Amelia, Taylor, Eric, hey, congratulations for Night at the Eagle Inn.
Thank you.
Terrific.
Thanks.
Well, let's start with the easy question. I guess for you, Eric, where did the original idea came from for this horror film that you're so familiar with in this genre?
We were interested in making something that was accessible and fun and quick, but on our own terms. So we ended up having the resources to be able to film at this awesome location. And so knowing the actor friends that I had available to me in this location, we sort of wrote a showcase piece for the people, places, and things that we had, but kind of just with a knowing wink to what came before, but not so much that we were actively subversive about it. I mean, we're certainly embracing tropes, but in a way that I think is original to us. So it came from loving the vacancies and the 1408s of the world and the innkeepers, and just wanting to tell our own specific story within that subgenre.
Most excellent. Now, I understand this is sort of like the Cobblestone Corridor reunion in its own sorts. Taylor, Amelia, tell us what contract with the devil did you sign to force you guys to Night at the Eagle Inn?
Well, it's actually in our contracts that I won't work with Eric unless I am playing twins with Amelia Dudley. So
well, and she owns our souls now too.
Yeah.
I don't know that
kind of sprung that last part on us, but we didn't realize it would be like method acting where we actually had to like sign our souls over. No, we were both. I mean, I guess I'm speaking for both of us right here, but like Amelia and I were both, I think, super pumped to work together again. You know, you have that rapport already, and it really, I think, benefited the infrastructure that we had. You know, it was very agile, very contained in this location, and so we kind of just had to show up and like have all of our stuff together, have our work ready, and like, you know, we didn't read the script and do a full read through until like the night before we started shooting, and it was just kind of like back in that groove, like within a couple pages. And Eric does such a good job at writing to our strengths as actors, and so it was really, really easy and just like a total blast to get to reunite with my dearest sister.
You want to add anything, Amelia?
I mean, I think too, like I'm an only child, so that's my background, and so like it's really nice to work on something and be like, oh, I like have a brother who feels like a brother, you know. It's because we like worked together like so closely before. It's that like being able to work on that relationship and establish it and have it kind of built already for us because of Cobblestone was like a nice homecoming.
Eric, how did it feel to bring everyone back onto projects like this?
It's like my favorite thing in the world to do is to be able to work closely with my friends and to be able to operate on that creative wavelength with them. It's like one of those things that I think naturally becomes more few and far between, strangely, the older that you get. And it's very much part of my goals and like personal mission to make it more of a regular thing. So I think that Taylor, Carson, Amelia, and I mean, everybody that I work closely with like this, we have this shorthand mentally and creatively and spiritually. I mean, not take it too lofty. And so to be able to just be in the same room and be creating with people that I relate to like that, it's when I feel most like myself. And I think that was a gift of this moment in time. As crazy as that year was, we sort of were able to just say, we're just going to be creative for creativity's sake, and we're all going to come in with our professional skill set, but we're going to make movies friends and family style. And you know, even coming out of pandemic, that's something that I have carried and I want to keep carrying, is just that that freedom to do it and to be driven by those things.
Excellent. Eric, what is your attraction to you know, this horror genre? Because because that's something that you've been working on for quite a bit.
Yeah, I think as strange as it sounds, it's something that actually brings people together. It's something that people want to commune over, because I think it awakens in strange ways this kind of these pieces of childhood imagination that become locked up, again, the older that you get. And I like the idea of shaking that up. I like the idea of people sitting in a room together and breathing, synchronizing, and relating to each other and having this communal experience. I think that's the thing about horror, is it's both intensely personal and intensely communal. So you can be having an individual experience that is also shared with all of the people around you. It's just fun. It's just fun, and you get to do fun things like, you know, put them in the kind of makeup that we did and just make everything slightly heightened, slightly north of reality, in a way that feels grounded but also like play. So that's what keeps bringing me back.
Terrific. Taylor, Amelia, did you guys treat this as a horror or another mystery like from the cobblestone?
Oh, that's a good question.
I think that in the context of like an actor, you come into it like as the character, as a mystery, because the circumstances are kind of grisly, you know, like our dad's disappeared, our mom died, and it's this very charged, very spooky location. And both of the characters, Sarah and Spencer, you know, one's a bit more skeptical, one's sort of looking for something spooky, or as I think Sarah calls it, ghost stuff. But I think then the horror comes when they're actually confronted with it, when these like very savvy, very kind of genre aware people are then like thrust into the center of it, and it's like, oh shit, like this is for real. And then that's, I think, where the fun drama comes from it. It's like, how do you cope with it? How do you survive? How do you escape? And that's, you know, the question. Do they survive and do they escape?
And just to add to that, we do like it's for us, it's a mystery until it's not, and that transition happens very, very quickly, and we like this where the skepticism is. We are confronted with the supernatural, with the paranormal, being these characters who are constantly like referencing the Twilight Zone and The Shining and Misery, and like we have an awareness that Taylor was saying. So once, you know, that thing that we're familiar with as being like, you know, media that we consume smacks us in the face, we're like, oh, this is very wrong.
Erik, where did you find this location, this inn? Because in its own way, it is like creepy, like The Shining or something like that.
In beautiful Plymouth, Vermont. It had recently closed in its heyday, and this is true, and it informs the dialogue too. In its heyday, I mean, that place was popping. And so we just sort of let that inform what we were doing. Everything was, it wasn't so far gone that it would have felt like your run of the mill, we're in an abandoned place kind of movie. I think the fact that it felt operational really helped us and elevated it and made it all feel a little bit bigger, that you could believe that this place was still, it was tired, but it was operating. And there is a strange beauty there. So we just wrote with all of those sensibilities and sort of let the energy of the place dictate what we were doing. But we found that on a scout for another thing and said, this isn't appropriate for that movie, but it would be appropriate for a horror movie. So that's what we did.
Erik, where the footage on the television, was that filmed before or after the production with Taylor and Amelia?
It was filmed before we went up, and it was a way to, it was multiple things. I mean, it's really cool imagery. It was a way to bring color to the movie, but it was a way to bring a bigger cast because it was middle of COVID. So it was a way to kind of like double the cast size without having to bring people up to Vermont. And Amelia can speak to this more, but it was the first time that she saw the footage was when we were shooting it. So that was sort of for fun. Same with like me on the TV. The first time they saw that was when they were watching it in person. And that was just sort of the, I don't know, the fun of it. I mean, I know Amelia wasn't like driven to like fear paralysis by those things on the TV in real life, but I think that it just made it a little bit more spontaneous, probably.
Want to speak to that, Amelia, on what was it like acting with the TV?
Yeah, I mean, it was curious. You know, I'm seeing these things for the first time, which of course was very cool. So, you know, I'm having all of my, you know, initial reactions as we're, you know, doing that first take. And so even in the takes that came after, they're all still very fresh. And I think one of the things that I was playing with as an actor was just how these things have, these TVs, like it's a commonplace object, but they've suddenly become so unfamiliar and terrifying and threatening. So it's you know, taking that thing that is commonplace and looking at it differently because there's something sinister underneath it. And so like that combined with seeing those tapes for the first time was really fun to play with in every room that we went through.
Terrific. So by chance, is there going to be more cobblestone corridor reunions down the road for all of you guys?
There's always more to the story.
Always more to the story. I think reunions, definitely. I mean, Erik loves to bring in people he's worked with before.
Yeah, no, there'll be, you'll see more of these two together and other pairings from that. But you know, there's if and when the opportunity presents itself, there's certainly more story to tell with that Alfred Pierce Preparatory School.
Great. And Taylor, you missed the hair?
Yes, I don't miss the upkeep, and my scalp doesn't miss the like burning bleach, dandruff, like dry scalpness. Because like I got, my friend is a colorist, and so he did it for like a friends and family discount. I was like, oh great, like this is like such a great deal. And then he's like, okay, so you're gonna need this shampoo, this conditioner, this toner. And I was like, I'm paying the same amount. Like what the hell? But it was a blast, and just, you know, it's a lot of upkeep, and it's a lot harder because Amelia is a natural blonde, and like going from blonde to black is a lot easier than going from this to like ghostly white. But it was really badass, and I'm glad that I have it immemorialized in this project specifically. So I think it worked really well for it.
Everyone, congratulations once again for Night of the Eagle, and thank you very much for talking to us about this horror project. And hopefully you guys, you know, you reunite again on another one. Thank you.
Sure. It'll happen.
Appreciate it. Bye now.
Bye.
Thank you.